It's 8:30.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Two of a Kind Sports. This is the show where passion meets the game. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am your host, Denise.
And I am your co-host, D Nice.
That's right. I am your co-host. I don't know why I said I'm your host. I am your
It's okay.
co-host.
It's all
This
in the
is
same.
That's right.
All
We
in the
are
same.
co-hosting. And tonight we're going to discuss the Commanders hosting the Miami Dolphins in Ashburn, Virginia for a joint practice before we start our preseason. And we're also going to discuss Laremy Tunsil's injury and Brandon Coleman stepping into his position as starting left tackle. So,
Mhm.
D Nice, over
Yes.
to Ashburn, Virginia, joint practice, Washington Commanders, Miami Dolphins,
hmm
going at it.
Going
What were
at it.
your impressions?
Well, Denise, my impressions, two of a kind sports family. My impressions from all the reports and from everything that I've seen, that offense was ticking. Jaden Daniels, Stephon Diggs, Antonio Williams, Bill. All of them was doing a thing, but not to even mention about the defense. The defense was flying around, and your boy Mikey Sanderstill finally showed up. Because Denise, I was a little worried throughout the week. I had been seeing Mikey Sanderstill getting cooked, but
Yeah.
today he actually picked off a interception and took it back for 6. So the impressions that I got from today's joint practice with the Miami Dolphins was very positive. That Jaden looked sharp. Uh, Brandon Coleman actually looked pretty decent. He actually was looking better than Josh Conley. So overall, I think we look good. Now, here's one thing I gotta say. The center position, as I always mention, Denise, right? With Julian Good Jones. Well, I need Julian Good Jones to be Julian Best Jones because I don't need him to get my quarterback killed. Today, they could not run the ball in between the tackles. And that's fine. That's what practice for. But as you know, we play them Friday night. So I want to see him step it up along with this offensive line. And I want to see whatever limited that we have of the starters play. I want to see what they look like, as a cohesive unit. So today's joint practice, Denise, from all reports, I'm extremely happy. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have to join you in that because there was no bad news necessarily coming out about the
Yes.
joint practice. And I was happy to know that the Commanders overall up against the Dolphins did dominate. Now, of course, the Dolphins are dealing with injuries, but so are we,
Are
and
we?
so
Yes.
were we. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear anything about injuries. Whoever is there is responsible for making it happen. So it's always next man up. That's what they tell us. So that's what I'm
That's
telling
right.
everybody else. So I was happy to know that both on offense and on defense, the Commanders were looking strong and sturdy up against these Miami Dolphins. And like you said, our cornerback, Mikey Sanders, still did get a pick 6. So, for all the negative talk that had been going on about him earlier this week, he did provide a response. So congratulations to him on that. And of course, Jaden Daniels was definitely looking good. Even Miami Dolphins fans had
Mm-hmm.
to admit that Jaden Daniels really did look good in this joint practice. And he threw a 70-yard touchdown pass to Treylon Burks. So that was very impressive. And we do have that to show you right here on Two of a Kind Sports, where passion meets the game. And the defense, our defense did pressure Malik Willis, Miami Dolphins
Mm-hmm.
quarterback Malik Willis. He did get pressured, and our defense did expose that Miami O line for
Yes, they
being kind
did.
of weak. Okay,
A-
so I
Adafe Owe. Yep.
I did appreciate that. So I did like everything I saw, and I did appreciate what I heard coming out of the joint practice, especially since Miami last season, as you saw live and in person in Madrid, Spain, they
Yes.
beat us. It
Yeah.
was
And
13
in overtime. Mm-hmm.
16. Yeah. So, I revenge is a dish best served cold. So Mikey
Yes.
Sanders still put the frosting, he put the frost on it, the frost on that cold with a pick six up against their quarterback, Malik Willis. So
Hmm.
I was very happy to hear about that. And I tell you what, you mentioned, the various players on offense. Yankov.
Yes.
Yankov has been looking good, and I
Hmm.
saw a little bit from him last season, but not very much, and certainly not enough.
Yeah.
So with us having Luke McCaffrey back, with us having Yankov, and according to all sources, David Blau was supposed to be making sure Jaden distributes the ball as opposed to trying to take matters into his own hands. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with that. And, with Laremy Tunsil out, Brandon Coleman in, let me just remind everybody, Brandon Coleman was at left tackle in your favorite year of our
Yes.
Lord 2024.
Uh-huh.
So this team, this Commanders team, was able to achieve great things with Brandon Coleman in the position of left center. Laremy Tunsil just elevated that, So we're going to see, what we get, but I'm not feeling down or depressed about that situation. But here in this joint practice, I really like to see joint practices because it gives us the best look we're going to get before the
Hmm.
preseason of how two NFL teams play and clash. So even though they have to kind of take it easy, because this is not, a real game, it's still good to see who is where and how our team is progressing. And one thing I want to say too is I did listen to Durante Jones presser, and he is very consistent. He's still talking that good talk that I like. He's focusing on technique.
Yes.
And that is what this defense needs the most in order to show marked improvement over last season, where they were ranked last in the NFL. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of Durante Jones' leadership over this defense, making them aggressive, making them more effective, and taking them in the right direction because they can't stay ranked at the bottom. They
Right.
have to elevate from that. So that is Durante Jones' task. That is
Yes.
the burden that lays squarely on his shoulders to elevate this defense because they have nowhere to go but up. So I did like the fact that he talked about technique.
Yes.
So he's very technical, and we know that he really dissects players' performance
Hmm.
to detect their strengths and their weaknesses so that he can design his scheme accordingly. So I am very encouraged by what I saw from Durante Jones. Jaden Daniels' presser was good because he, answered basic questions that they asked him. But one thing I have to note from Terry's press conference, from Leo Chanel's press conference, from Jaden's press conference, they are a close knit team. These players, when they're in press conferences, they don't shine the spotlight on themselves. I noticed that attitude throughout. They are very
Hmm.
complimentary of their fellow players. You know,
Yes.
they are
True
very
brotherhood.
and I like that. So
Yes.
excuse me, that's what I took from today's joint practice between our Commanders and the Miami Dolphins.
Right. So, Denise, I have a little nickname I say for Jaden Daniels. I like to call him Himothy. Himothy Daniels. So
Timothy,
it's
you say?
Himothy with an
Timothy.
H. Himothy, yes. Because
Timothy. Okay.
he is him, and he's that guy, he's that dude. You can see, just like you said in the presser, and even on the field, that Jaden Daniels' leadership skills is taking his offense a long ways, along with Stephon Diggs. You can see them, like you said, the cohesion. They always talking. The other day, they even said that Stephon and Jaden, had breakfast together, was talking about things, concepts, things that that Stephon sees, because as we see in practices, Stephon gets open pretty easily, So
Yes.
I like that. Jaden loves that, what he brings to the team. And that's a matter of fact. I have a question that I want to ask the chat too, while we're talking about Stephon Diggs. Just kind of a little bit off the subject. So Stephon Diggs has recently said, right, Denise, that he will, he wore in high school, he wore the number 7. They asked Joe Theismann about this yesterday, right? So Joe is saying basically, it's up to the team. And here's my take, D Nice's take. And I'm sorry, it might not be the popular opinion, but I feel like if Brian Mitchell jersey has not been retired yet and is still being, in circulation, so should Sonny Juggins. I mean, I'm sorry. So should Joe Theismann. You did it for Dwayne Haskins. Now, some people might say, well, Steph is only going to be here for a year. I think it's going to be possibly 2 years. But if he was to wear the number 7, how would you feel, chat? And how would you feel, Denise? Would you look at it as a badge of honor, or you think that the organization should not let Stephon wear the number 7? Because I think, quite frankly, he looks decent in 18, but the number 7 is a jersey number that he's asking for. So what do you think?
Well, speaking of the chat, let me welcome my girl Navonda.
Hey,
Welcome to
what's
the
up?
chat. Good evening. I love having you here as well. And Mies, the Commander's Nightmare, has entered the chat. Yes, Mies, we
What's up,
have to
Mies?
agree with that. And let's see. He says, Mommy 5 needs a couple of breakfast. Dude is still skinny. Look here. Look
He ain't
here.
gonna get no bigger, brother.
Look here, Mies. That we'll see how it all pans out, because
Mm.
I'm past looking at his weight, because I didn't see any weight gain either. But hey, he can still throw and he can still move. So as long as he can go through his progressions and let
Mm-hmm.
everybody run their routes and get the ball into the right people's hands and amongst his receiving core, I'll allow him to be skinny.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
let me go to my girl Navonda. Hello,
Hey, what's up, Navonda?
Dumpling, and good evening to you as well. So let me give you my impression about the number 7 jersey. Okay,
Okay.
I disagreed with previous management of this team not retiring jerseys. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I disagreed with that, but that was what it was. We know that in November, John Riggins' number 44 jersey is going to be retired. It only stands to reason that Joe Theismann's number 7 jersey is going to be retired. So I would say, if there are any plans to retire Theismann's jersey in the near future, that would be valid reason to tell Stephon Diggs no.
Yeah.
If there is a plan to retire Theismann's jersey in the near future. Now, if there
So
is
what's the
not,
near future? Is that next year, or when
well, I
is
don't know how
how
many
soon?
jerseys they can retire in 1 year. I mean, we're
Right.
doing Riggins in November. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine they're not going to retire a series of jerseys in a single season.
That is correct.
But if but I don't know what the team's plans are. Okay, so if the team plans to retire Theismann's jersey in the near future, and I know that's kind of vague, but that will be
Mm-hmm.
determined by the team. But at any time during Stephon's 1 year tenure here, okay, if Riggins if Theismann's jersey is to be retired during that time, then of course the answer is no. But if
Mm-hmm.
there are no recent current plans to retire Theismann's jersey, like in the near future, if there's nothing going on in the foreseeable immediate future, then I don't care what number Stephon Diggs wears. Okay. The number that I'm looking at from Stephon Diggs is 1,000 plus in
That's
yards.
right.
Okay?
Right.
So the jersey number thing, I'm not trying to make it a controversy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason to give it to him because he requested it. Okay. But there would also be a reason to deny him which would be directly tied to the timing of Joe Theismann's jersey being retired. So if there are no immediate plans to retire Theismann's jersey this season, they can let Stefan wear number 7. But
I
the
agree.
thing about it is, if Stefan is trying to play for this team for more than 1 year, and he
Hmm.
wants this year to be, a show me, prove it kind of year, and he wants to continue on with this team, then it wouldn't make much sense to get the number 7 jersey if it's going to be retired, because then
Hmm.
you have to ask Stefan, if we grant you this jersey number 7 this year, would you be prepared to change it if you get a contract extension? Because we're going to reserve the right to retire Joe Theismann's jersey anytime we want. And especially since Rigo's jersey is going
Hmm.
to be retired in November, Joe Theismann's jersey is on deck.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the timing. So
Right.
I'm not going to get caught up in that. A no is a no, a yes is a yes. Either way, he's under contract to be the wide receiver for this team, and Stefan Diggs better get those 1,000+ yards.
Guess what? I think this is the year we're going to have two 1,000 yard receivers. We haven't had that since 1989 when it was Gary Clark, when it was Ricky Sanders, and it was Art Monk. This is the year we're going to have two 1,000 yard receivers. I
Okay.
really believe that. If you keep Jaden Daniels, you keep number 5, you keep Himothy, you keep him upright, and you keep him healthy, there's no way you can't tell me with how Stephon and how Terry runs, they run their routes, they seamlessly get open. You know, you can't tell me that they're not going to have, because they're going to get a lot of yak yards. So I think this is the year that we're going to have two 1,000 yard receivers. So quote me now. D Nice could be wrong, but guess what? I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna stand in my square, Denise. I'm
Two
gonna stand and say that we
1,000 yard
two
receivers.
1,000 yard receivers
Okay.
that we will have this year. And Mies, to go out to what you're saying, Mies is saying Diggs needs to perform before asking for Hall of Famers that have won something. Look up Diggs Super Bowl game stats. Let me know if he deserves it. Well, a lot of that wasn't his fault. Drake May played poorly in the Super Bowl. Stephon Diggs was open a lot. If it wasn't for Stephon Diggs, do you think they would have got to the Super Bowl? Because he was their um, most productive receiver throughout the whole year, even over Booty. So I know he hasn't done nothing here as a commander, but what I do like that he did was respectfully ask. He didn't say I want it. He said I'm going to ask. And that's why that question came up with Theismann on Grant and Danny. So we like we said, we're not going to make too much out of the number, because no matter what number you put on, I still think he's going to go out there and produce two 1,000 yard receivers. You heard it here first. You heard it
Okay.
here
Well,
first.
I agree with Me's point. It's show and prove first, but
But
if
he
he
got to
wants
play.
to ask for it, he
Right.
can ask for it. But again, to me, it's about the timing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
our buddy Daryl says he doesn't have a problem
Me
with it,
either.
but me
Because it's
either.
no different. It's no difference if you say the same thing about Brian Mitchell. Okay. So Joe has won a Super Bowl here, so has Brian Mitchell. So why is it that Joe Theismann number is untouchable, but Brian Mitchell number 30 has been going around and nobody has really asked him? So what is the
But has
difference?
anybody asked for Joe Theismann 7 though?
Yes, Dwayne Haskins, the late Dwayne Haskins, and Joe honored that.
Okay,
So that's the last time we had
well,
it.
you said Joe honored that. Joe didn't honor that. The team honored that.
Well,
Joe
the
didn't
team honored
make
that.
that
Right.
decision.
So
So,
I like the way
but
Stephon is
again,
asking Joe.
back then, you gotta look at the context.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, that was previous ownership. They
True.
didn't retire jerseys back then. They
Mm-hmm.
retire jerseys now. So this
Right.
is a different circumstance he's entering into. So to compare that other situation, with this one, I don't think that that's a true equivalency because different management, different rules, different situation.
Hmm.
Because Theismann's jersey wasn't going to be retired, so there was no reason not to give it to Dwayne Haskins. But now that we are retiring jerseys, it's about scheduling. And
Right.
again, you believe, as I do, that Stephon Diggs is playing for more than one season.
I
Okay,
do.
we believe
Yes.
that he wants to get a contract extension, and that's what he's going to be playing for. So, what would be the point in giving him a number 7 if this team next season decides to retire Theismann's jersey? Then, then,
What
then,
about?
then that Stephon Diggs is going to have to change his number.
Okay, so what about my rebuttal to that is, what about if they waiting 2 to 3 years down the line? What about if they
You
go
don't know,
and
no, you don't
what
ever
about?
make Joe Theismann wait. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
Oh,
they've been making them wait all these years.
no, they haven't been making him wait. The team had a policy. That's not making him wait.
Okay, so
Theismann is
this
now eligible to have his jersey retired. You mean you're going to let a Hall of Fame, you're going to tell a Hall of Famer, oh, we're going to wait to retire your jersey because of Stephon Diggs? Are you kidding me?
and
What?
B
Oh,
Mitch should be a
Caesar,
Hall of Famer.
let me get Caesar in on this one because I know
B
Caesar
Mitch should be a
is
Hall of Famer.
here.
Both of them are Hall of Famers, even though both of them are Hall of Famers. That should be Hall of Famers. So it doesn't matter. It's just all in the schedule. Like you said, when the team is going to actually retire, because it's a couple of other people that could be in line ahead of
Brian
Joe.
Mitchell is not going in, and Brian Mitchell is not
Brian
getting his
Mitchell,
jersey
Brian Mitchell is
retired.
he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
And he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but Joe Theismann is a Hall of Famer. And Joe Theismann's jersey, reasonably speaking, let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
Theismann's jersey is going to be retired before Brian Mitchell's jersey.
We'll see. It possibly you're right. Possibly
In
you're
what
right.
world do you see? In what world did Caesar? Come on now, Caesar. I know Caesar's got something to say about this. Okay, Joe should not be in a position to say yes
Yes
or no,
or no.
and he's not. Okay, but Caesar says, and let me go back to this. Caesar says Diggs should not have access to Joe Theismann's number 7. Now, again, my thing is, and I can see your point, Caesar. If the Commanders are going to retire Theismann's jersey in the near future, okay,
Right.
like let's say next season, which I
Mm-hmm.
can totally see that. Stephon Diggs, if he gets a contract extension, is going to have to get another jersey number. So if the Commanders say no, you cannot have number 7, that would be the reason.
Yeah.
And would you accept that, D Nice? Would you accept them saying, hey, look, Joe Theismann's jersey is on deck to be retired. So we don't want you to have to go through changing jersey numbers. So go ahead and just, pick a different jersey number because number 7 is going to be retired. Would you accept that?
Yes. If the organization came to Stephon Diggs and told him that, yes, I will be right on board with that. I will be on board with that.
Okay. So Joe Horton, 7934. Welcome. Hey guys. He says, I agree with you, D Nice. I've watched Jaden since his college years. He is consistent with his receivers. 1,000 yards for 2 receivers is accurate. We agree with that. However, I popped right out. I'm so sorry. However, that front line has got to work.
This is true.
We certainly agree with that. The front line has to protect Jaden. And we know that if Jaden doesn't feel protected, if Jaden feels like he's in danger, Jaden has feet. Okay. Jaden has speed. Jaden has moves. Jaden can get jiggy with it. So, he can duck, dodge, bob, weave, and move around to try to extend the play. We know he has that ability. We just don't want to keep putting that to the test because that is what puts him at risk of being injured. So we don't want to, keep Jaden on the move and on the run. We want to create solid pockets so he can become an elite pocket passer. So
I agree. I mean, the line is definitely is in works. They not at mid-season form. And you tell me right now what NFL line is, because I've been hearing other reports from a lot of the teams in the NFC East, and a lot of them not looking good. So it's I don't know if that's smoke and mirrors, but at the end of the day, it would all come out once we play these games. But if this line can give Mr. Himothy time, I believe 2 1,000-yard receivers. I do believe that, and I believe Chig can have about
Yeah,
600-700 yards as a tight end. This offense is going to be potent. I mean, you look at today's practice where Jaden just easily threw the ball and Stephon had a tiptoe catch in the back of the end zone. Look at the play to Traylon
yeah.
Burks. You have so many different weapons. Van Jefferson made a sideline catch. Terry made a catch. How are you going to stop this offense if we can keep number 5 healthy? I don't think you're going to be able
Yeah.
to stop it. This offense is going to be problems.
Well, we're going to have to see how David Blau deals with all of these weapons,
Yeah,
keeps them in proper
that's a great
rotation
problem to
to
have. That's a
make
great
it
problem to have.
so, yes, to make it so that, the ball gets distributed enough for
Mm-hmm.
both Terry and Stephon to get 1,000, because, sometimes coordinators can get stuck and they figure, well,
Yes.
a player is performing well, so let's keep him. And Stephon Diggs sitting on the sidelines waiting for Terry to slip on a banana peel is, you say it's a nice position to be in, but
Yeah.
that's not going to necessarily work well for us in the end. So, because that's not going to get us to 2 receivers having 1,000 yards. So it's
Right.
going to be interesting to see how
Yes. Mm-hmm.
he juggles it all. And I am
Yeah.
freezing up.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. So, and like I said, that's a good thing. And I think we have 2 very smart coordinators. I think this is the best job that DQ has done. I believe we have a genius on the offensive side that can draw up plays, scheme up plays to get players open. I think on the defensive side with Coach Durante Jones, we have a scheme that we can utilize and be able to create so much chaos and havoc. As we heard today, Malik Willis was he was a couple of times where Adolphe and them was in the backfield like several times. You know what I mean? That would have been sacks. But as you know, in these joint practices, you can't touch your quarterback. So already we're seeing and we're hearing about more pressure than we ever had last year, or for better or worse, for the last 2 years. So I think that's going to also, that pressure up front will help your back end, will help your safeties, will help your corners. And then this linebacker core that we have. Oh my goodness, Denise. Every time I see them line up and see how much quickness and how much speed and how much range that they can cover, it gets me so excited. And I think the coach Durante Jones has a lot of pieces on the defensive side. So it goes both ways, for both coordinators having a lot to, think up. But I think they're both ready for this opportunity. And I think that they're both of the coordinators are going to show why they were picked and proven to be offense and defensive coordinators. Yep. So, Mees, let me ask you this. You like the name Himothy, right? That's why I call him Himothy. Definitely call him Himothy because Jaden Daniels, man, I think we have something really, really, really special, Daryl, Mees, Navonda. I really think we have, if he can stay healthy, and with Laremy Tunsil being out right now. Now let's go back to Brandon Coleman. Brandon Coleman, as I said before, is going to be fine. Um, you go back to his rookie year in 2024 before we had Laremy Tunsil. He was 10-4 as a starter. Now I do understand Cornelius Lucas was sharing time with him at that time, but the only reason why that they end up going for Laremy Tunsil is because Brandon Coleman was having problems with speed rushers. Now we know that you can offset the speed a lot of times with quick passes, hitch passes, screens, and I think you have the receivers and you have the tight end that can get into these soft spots in these zones. You want to blitzes? You coming through the A gap? Okay, here we go. And Jaden processes so quickly and has a quick trigger of an arm. I think that we're going to be fine. I really think we're going to be fine at the left tackle position. Now, What we need to worry about is Josh Conley holding up on that right side. Because as I have reports I heard today, Brandon Coleman seemed to actually fare better today than Josh Conley. So, I think this line just and we'll have a good test this week, chat. We'll have a good test this week against the Ravens. And I'm just looking forward to us to continue to get 1% better, as DQ always says, and just keep building and building and building. But for what we had out there today, I think was great for the team morale. I think it was great for the fans, and it was great for to put on tape because last year, as we know, when we went up to the Patriots, when we played the Patriots in the joint practice, it didn't look good. It did not look good at all, and that's where we're hearing rumblings that this defense was, the defense wasn't looking good, and definitely the wide receivers. We're not hearing none of that this year. So far to a good start. Now, injuries is part of the NFL game, and we know that. Yes, we have lost to Laremy Tunsil early. Now, one good thing that we have a chance, possibly, chat, is if maybe we making a playoff run, he possibly can come back. So I think that's a good thing. But if we're doing good while Laremy Tunsil out, that's just a bonus. That reminds me of like when Sam Cosmi was out and we had Chris Paul and you had Andrew Wiley. Matter of fact, chat, I even heard Andrew Wiley make a comment that Laremy Tunsil, after he has his surgery, he's going to come back out there and practice. He still wants to be a mentor. That's a good thing because as with just a torn tricep, he'll have his arm in a sling. So far as being able to just give them that not mental toughness, but mental reps and, showing them little things and as him being a leader for that offensive line, I think that will just be an added attribute to this team. I think the offensive line is going to be okay. Like I said, my number one thing is center with Nick Allegari or your man, Julian Best Jones. I'm not going to say good. He needs to be Best Jones. So that's what we need to worry about because as your center, he calls the offensive line slide protections, so that all matters, so I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be fine as long as we have no more major injuries. I'm just looking forward to it. And great joint practice, and I want to see. Now we're probably not going to see the starters play, but a series Friday night. I think we're going to see more of. Oh Lord, we're going to see Hartman, and we're going to see AK play, and that's going to be a little interesting to see, especially Sam Hartman, who has an arm of a noodle. But that's what practices are for, and preseason games are for. So I want to see the offense go out there, how many reps that they get Friday night, go out there and execute. Get on the field and get off the field healthy. But execution is the number one key.
Well, hey, listen, I am so sorry. My internet apparently is having some problems because I
Okay.
totally cut out and cut off. So I am back. I see Navanda says she's definitely looking forward to this year, as we all are, Navanda.
Yes, we are.
So, and let's see. Joe Horton 7934 says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Tunsil wasn't playing during JD5's rookie year, which he was not. And we went to the NFC Championship game, so it's all good. And thank you, Joe Horton 7934, because that is a point I made earlier.
Big point, yes.
In year of our Lord 2024, which D Nice loves so much, it was Brandon Coleman who was at left tackle during the 12-5 season where Jaden Daniels had that breakout rookie year. So we're basically getting back to that. Laremy Tunsil, of course, was an upgrade in that position, but now that he's out, it is what it is, and it's next man up, and we can move forward. So that is a good point. Thank you for that. Joe Horton 7934. And now we have, and I don't want to keep him waiting too long because it's been a while. We have Leonard Skins in the house, our resident historian. So, Kirby, I need you to
Kirby, what's up,
yeah,
Kirby?
there we go. Stay right there so we can see you. But
Got the
Kirby,
good
thank you
Redskin
so much for
helmet.
joining us.
Hey, everybody.
Hello,
What's
Well,
going on,
hello.
Kirby? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I do have a different opinion on the subject that we're talking about with Coleman. I don't have a problem with him being left tackle because he did it 2 years ago and did a good job. My problem is Coleman's a better guard than he is a left tackle, and he's a better guard than Paul. And during practice today, Miami blew up Paul. Okay,
Yeah, but
so
Kirby, you don't want Andrew
so
Wiley in there as your left tackle because he really gonna get blown up,
no,
and
no,
Brandon
no,
Coleman is more
no.
athletics.
That's right. But what I want him to do is go and get this Taylor or Tyler Decker and get him over there. And so because your running game depends on your guards.
Well, Tyler Decker wants 20 million, Kirby, and from what I last have looked up, the last couple years he's been banged up with injuries. I'm no way, shape, and form looking for another Noah Brown, as I said before. We don't need damaged goods. We bring him in 20
Yeah.
million and he doesn't produce and he's hurt. Then we're back to the drawing board. So I think
Well,
AP personally, I think AP is going to wait till some cuts happen and see who's out there on the waiver wire. But Decker wants 20 million. I think that's a little bit too much for him. That's just
okay,
my
but
opinion.
I'm just saying that by moving Coleman to left tackle is not a problem for the left tackle because we will be running the ball more, and the left tackle his big value is to protect the right-handed quarterback's blind side on pass plays, but we'll be running the ball more, so it's really not that bad, okay? But the problem is that we're losing something on our run game because the run game comes off the guards.
Yes,
You got to have two good guards for a powerful running game.
this is true. Yes, and Chris
And
Paul is not as athletic as Brandon Coleman. So you're right.
right.
You're definitely right.
I know I'm
You're
right.
definitely
I'm always right. No, I'm
Wasn't Chris Paul at the joint practice today with his brother? Doesn't his brother Patrick Paul play for the Miami
Dolphins. Yes, he
Okay,
does.
so we
Denise.
had the brothers Chris and Patrick Paul.
Yes.
So, well, yeah. So
okay,
we
then
have. Oh, go ahead, Kirby.
then the other subject was about the Joe Theismann thing. I realized that a lot of Commanders fans weren't even born when Joe Theismann gave us our first Super Bowl, you know. But I am not at all in favor with Diggs or anybody else wanting number 7. I want number 7 up there in the Ring of Fame, and I want the number retired, and I want Diggs to take whatever number that the team gives him, preferably number 18.
Right. So, but Kirby, I mean, and that's all fine and dandy. But if they're not going to retire it this year, and he just wants to maybe just honor it this year, with the team saying, "Hey, we have future plans of retiring Joe's jersey," and if he says, "I just want to wear it for this year," are you opposed to him at least wearing it for this 1 year?
Yeah, yes, I am, because this falls back on Snyder.
Okay.
20 years he had time to do all this and fix all this, and to give our Hogs the credit and the respect that they should have gotten, and the posse that they should have gotten, and Joe Theismann should have gotten, and John Riggins should have gotten.
I agree. I agree on that. And like as Denise said, and you said it, that was the previous regime. This regime right now is trying to make things right. I like that each year that they're honoring at least one of our Hall of Famers or people that should have been in the Ring of Fame a long time ago. So I and I agree that Joe will be having his jersey retired. And
course.
Daryl,
Now, now the other thing,
your record, Daryl, it will be retired before B. Mitch. So Daryl,
oh,
to what you said, I do believe Joe Theismann jersey will be retired before B. Mitch's.
now the other thing you mentioned, you was talking about Brian Mitchell, about them using number 30. Now I know for a fact that the guy that wanted to wear number 30 asked Mitchell, Brian, if he could wear it, and Brian Mitchell asked him one question: "What are your grades?"
Right.
And he had good grades, so
Right. So he let
Brian
him wear it.
let him do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, as far as I know, Diggs hasn't asked Joe Theismann about it.
Mhm.
I
And
think if he
so
did, Joe Theismann would probably say, I am honored that you want to wear that jersey number.
right.
However, I'm looking forward to my jersey being retired. So let's wait and see what the Commanders do. But we have Daryl backstage. Let me add Daryl to the stage. Hello,
What's
Daryl.
up,
Hello, how
Daryl?
y'all
What's up,
doing
Daryl?
today?
For
Welcome
hitting
back,
How
that
you
Daryl.
big.
doing, Kevin?
Hey, Daryl.
Yeah. If he wants to wear the jersey for the jersey number for this year, I have no problem with Stephon Diggs wearing the jersey. But if we retire Joe Theismann number 7 jersey, then he just gonna have to get another jersey number. That's
I agree.
all.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. If he want to wear it for this year, cool. But after that, and then they going to retire, then he got to get another jersey. That's understood.
Well, is there some reason why we cannot retire more than one jersey in a year?
No,
I
I
think
haven't read anything about that.
no. I
I don't
just
know
think
what
they
the
just doing
policy
one.
is. I
Yeah,
don't know what the policy is, but we do know that the announcement was made that November is going to be the time when Rigo's jersey number
Right.
44 is going to be retired. But you have to believe that Theismann is on deck. Like the number
Oh,
7 jersey is going to be, it's like gotta be the next one, I'm thinking.
hmm
Because I was surprised that Joe Theismann wasn't the first one to be retired. I'm surprised they put Joe Riggins in front of Joe Theismann because Joe was the quarterback, Joe was the face of the team, Joe was the star, Joe was Hollywood, and so I'm kind of surprised about that, but certainly Joe Theismann's jersey is in the works for being retired. And we have Table Fomine. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. Table Fomine dash W5X, fan of Kirby's Corner in the house.
Hey, I know that's right.
So
Kirby's
Table
corner.
Fomine. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. But
You
Kirby,
got a
we
fan,
have a
Kirby.
fan of yours of Kirby's Corner in the house.
hmm
Yeah. Wow.
You have so many fans around the world, Kirby. I know you can't keep track.
So, hey,
Wow.
Kirby,
Yeah.
so, hey, Kirby, and Daryl. So Friday, right?
mhm,
We played the Dolphins again.
mhm.
What do you want to? Do you want to see the team play the starters for a series, or how do you want to see them? Even though the joint practice they look well today, how do you want to see this offense, this first team offense and first team defense, play Friday night? Do you want to see a series, or you just want to hold them out?
Kirby, you can go ahead first. Kirby, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to see him play at least a half because we have guys coming back from injuries, and you really can't talk your way out of 5-12. You have to
You
work your
can't.
way out of
You
5 and
cannot.
12.
This is true, Kirby. You would never lied on that, buddy. This is true.
So what say you, Daryl?
I'll say two. I'll say 2 quarters because,
You
like I said last week, with the schedule we have, we can't come in there like the days ago. We know the Eagles gonna be ready. We got them out there intensity.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree with both of you. Yeah, a
I
half
agree with that.
sounds good. A half sounds good to me because I really believe against the Baltimore Ravens, that second preseason game, that's more of like a dress rehearsal, and you're not going to see Jaden and them play too much. So I would like to at least see them get a half myself this game, regardless of who's out there. Sometimes they like to say, well, I don't want to put Jaden out there with the second string, some of the second string linemen. He got to get reps. This game is about reps, you know what I mean? And we can't afford week one to start off slow against the Eagles. So we got to get as many reps as possible with your starters.
I agree with that, because normally I would say I want my starters to be preserved. I don't want my starters to risk injury in a preseason game that doesn't count as a win or a loss. Normally I would say that, but we have too many players who are recuperating and recovering from injury, who not only have dust, but rust that they need to knock off. So, I think it's imperative that they actually get that real playing time so they can get their bodies used to getting hit as soon as possible, because the only way to be in football condition is to play football. Like Kirby showing us with the helmet. That's right, Kirby. You show that helmet.
Kirby.
Show us that helmet, that, Kirby. That's right. Football condition. So our guys really need to play. They need those.
Oh, reps. That's the John Riggins. That's the John Riggins face mask too, Kirby. That's a classic. That's the Riggo face mask.
It's a heavy one.
I bet.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon.
And a protection. A weapon and a protection. So it serves a double purpose.
Go ahead. You
Daryl.
get 200. You get 245 pounds running. Put that helmet in somebody's chest. They gonna know about it. Their ancestor will feel it.
That is true. What were you saying, Daryl?
Who needs a big performance in Friday's game to stay on the roster? And
I'm going to say, if we're looking at receiver-wise, Daryl, I'm going to say Van Jefferson or Diami, because them two are the same. And when we look at these numbers game, now that Steph Diggs has come, he's pushed pretty much everyone down, one slot. We know that Luke and Jalen Lane is going to make it because they're draft picks. And not only that, they're special teamers. So, and then Traylon Burks presents something that none of the other receivers have on the team, which is some size. But when you look at Diami and Van Jefferson, they're both are pretty, your speed receivers. So I think you're going to need to see something from one of those two, to solidify. Because I think they're going to keep maybe 7 receivers because of Jaden Lane being your kick and your punt returner. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to those two as far as receivers.
I would agree with that.
Kirby, what you think, Kirby?
I have to agree with that. Jefferson probably next man out on the musical chairs there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Mikey Sanders he need to have a good performance because he been having a horrible training camp.
But he had a pick six today. He had a pick 6 today, Daryl.
Yeah, pick 6. That's good.
But, that's good.
That doesn't make up for his previous poor performance. You don't think that pick 6 makes up for it, Daryl?
Somewhat to get the coaches talking, but need to make more plays. Who I'm looking at Johnny Newton, Ben Sinnott. For all the Ben Sinnott fans out there, they say he doing good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it.
Well,
time for talking is over.
What about you, Denise?
I agree with you about Ben Jefferson. Go ahead, Kirby.
My sleeper is Allen, the running back. I think he going to surprise everybody.
Katron Allen, Fat Man. Do you know that the players, the nickname the players have? We call him Fat Man, but the players call him Fat Smack.
Fat
So he has
smack.
a fat smack.
Uh,
They said I listened to Rashad White the other day. He said, the fans, we're gonna let them have the nickname for Katron Allen as Fat Man, but they call him Fat Smack. So
Why
let's
do they
see.
call him Fat Smack
They
though? Is
they
he
they didn't say. He didn't say. He
okay?
just say they call him Fat Smack. So I don't know if he likes to talk a lot of trash or what, but he did not
Well, I'm
say.
hoping that's indicative of how he moves and hits.
Yeah. Well,
We shall see.
yeah.
and I like to see Jonathan Joseph.
Oh
See
yeah.
how he
Yeah,
Oh,
gonna do.
Daryl. He that's I listened to Lake Lewis Jr., man, and
yeah,
him and Candy Waller have been praising him to the fullest. With
exactly.
his length, his speed, he's always in the backfield. Like matter of fact, today, him and John Baptiste, both of them were
Mhm.
impactful. That's so that's good. That's what you want to hear. Some people that have not had any name or recognition in camp to make plays. But Joseph, man, I think he's going to be a heck of a player for us this year. And
Well,
Daryl,
that's
Well,
been the
wait.
you've
report
been on
on
point with
him.
That's
that.
that's
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Lake
my
Lewis,
sleeper.
yeah.
Okay.
but Lake Lewis finished school at Penn State,
Yep.
and Allen comes from Penn State, so Lewis is a little bit biased.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We were speaking of what we was talking about Joseph, but yeah, he I don't know. I think I think Joshua Joseph he's going to be a sleeper. I mean, when you look at our defensive ends, Daryl and Kirby and Denise, when you look at them, we have John Baptiste, you have Demetric Wise that hasn't even come back yet. You have Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah,
Man, I mean, we haven't had this many pass rushers that that in a long time that we can actually say we actually had some depth. Last year, previous years when we had Chase Young and we had Montez Sweat, that was all who we had. But now you have these type of guys. Oh, and we can't forget about Odafe Owe and
Yeah.
Mendihu. We just have so many pieces, and I think we can get creative and we can cause havoc and pressure from a lot of different places
that's
and
right.
disguise a lot of the scheme, with having these multiple people on the field at the same time because they all bring something different to the defense. So
That's right.
that's what I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be nice.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, we got linebackers who can blitz too. We got
Absolutely.
corners that can blitz, safety
Yep.
blitz.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Clavon Chason, you got Leo Chanel, Frankie Louvu. Of course, we
Yeah.
can't forget about Sonny Styles. You know what I mean?
Top draft pick.
Yeah, we have
It,
actually
uh,
some weapons.
yeah, that's
We,
why I don't bring Sonny in the conversations because I know Sonny gonna do his thing.
mm-hmm.
I
Exactly.
want they do their thing too, and what they've been working on in training camp so far, bring it into game one.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, Kirby and Daryl. They've been saying right now, they had an unofficial depth chart, right? That DQ put out. And right now your safeties are Will Harris and Jeremy Reeves. How do you feel about the safety position?
I want to see him play some more.
I
I
like
want
I like Jeremy Reeves. But go ahead, go.
I'm
I've
sorry, I
been
didn't hear you.
wrong so
You finished?
I've been wrong so many times that I just want to see him play. I
Right,
want to see him
right,
play first.
right. Because you still have Quan Martin, you have Will Harris,
Yeah, that's
you
right.
have Percy Butler, you still have
Yeah,
those type of guys in the mix. So that's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to probably keep more safeties than we are at corners. I don't know how Fabian Moreau is going to pan out as a corner. Now that goes to Trey Amos. Trey Amos had a good day when he was checking Terry the other day at practice, and then he came down on his ankle, but he hurt himself. I would like to see him healthy and be inserted, because personally, I think your two corners should be Rasul Butler and Trey Amos if Trey is healthy, and then maybe Mikey. Well, I'm gonna say Amik Robertson in the slot, and I think you can mix Mikey in, but the best ability is availability, so I need Trey to to get healthy. But right now, I think the best corner. I think the best corner we have on the team is Rasul Butler. I'm sorry, Rasul Douglas. I said Butler. Jesus. Right. Rasul Douglas. Yes.
Right. Okay.
We have
I like that group.
We have Caesar added. Caesar, welcome to Two of a Kind Sports. Thank you for joining us live.
Hey, Caesar.
How you doing, Caesar?
Hey, Caesar.
Good evening.
Now somebody's going to have to mute something or turn something off.
Me,
Caesar.
I'm turning it off. Yep.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Caesar.
Yeah.
Come on in this good old conversation, Caesar.
Yeah,
what we've been talking about.
I like what you're talking about, the defensive line. I like the Dorrance Armstrong, the Deron Payne, the Omenihu. I like our linebackers, as Daryl was saying, because Sonny's going to come with it regardless. And I do like the fact that Rasul Douglas is probably going to be our number one. I also like Amik Robertson, because JD5 was talking about how he actually was giving him problems today during practice, because he was making jumps on balls.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked Mikey. He just has a knack for the ball. So I believe that he'll probably be best at a nickel. And shoot, they might even, I don't know. This new defense is what they're calling it, positionless defense. So you just don't know where they're going to be lining up. You don't know where they're going to be coming from. I mean, I know we like Nick Cross at free safety probably, and Quan Martin as well. Percy Butler, obviously he can rotate in, and then you got Sonny, who can play a hybrid of a safety. So, I mean, this defense is just going to be fast, quick, and they're going to be coming with a lot of aggressiveness. Yes.
Pressure from everywhere. It's called organized chaos, and I believe that's what Coach Durante Jones is going to present to a lot of And you know what? I want all of that week one against the Eagles, because I want to kick their butt, season. I want to kick their butt. I want to go in there and just give them all type of looks. You even hearing where Jalen Hurts has not been performing well during training camp. So guess what? I want to use all our vantage points. Let's go in there and cause organized chaos, and let's go and punch him in the mouth.
It's like Leonard Skins was saying earlier too about our left tackle with Brandon Coleman. You know what? I'm comfortable with him. I'll be honest with you. At first, when Tunsil got hurt, I was like, man, maybe we should get that cat from Detroit.
Decker.
Decker. To at least, I still think we kind of need to pick him up, maybe for depth and depth only.
But at 20 million, I
don't think they're going to. He's been sitting since March, so he knows he's not going to get that 20. I mean,
not AP not going to give him that.
No. He'll probably give him 7 or 8, and then incentive based up to 12 or something. But at least, and it's only a 1-year rental for that guy, because Tunsil will be back next year. I'm confident, like Leonard Skin says, I'm confident in Brandon Coleman. I think he's going to do okay. I mean, I think he's grown. And from the videos that we saw, everyone kept talking bad about Tunsil not being a leader. But here he was with these 2 young bucks, right, with Coleman and Connolly Jr., teaching them the craft that he has learned throughout the years. And so I just think he helped them become better players. And hopefully it'll show on the field. And from what I hear is that Tunsil, after the surgery, he wants to come back to practice to where the Commanders are, so he can actually continue being part of the team.
Yep. That's what I heard Andrew Riley kind of say that. Yep, I agree with you.
So let me start some controversy here. Because D-Nice, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard you say that even though Laremy Tunsil is due to be out, until like at least maybe December, If we make it to the playoffs, and you do believe we're making it to the playoffs,
yes, I do.
Would put Laremy Tunsil in during the playoffs. Did you say that or no? Was I hallucinating?
You darn right. I will put him in there. You got to put your 30 million. You got to put him in there because yes.
Oh, I would not. I would
Why
not.
would you do that? Why would you? So D Nice, if you were a player on this team, if you were the left tackle, okay, and you played the whole season and you put a warm body out on that field and you contributed to this team's wins, not necessarily the losses, but you were a warm body out there directly contributing to this team throughout the entire regular season, which made them eligible to be in the playoffs. You would sit the guy who's been performing all season long for a guy who's been spending the entire season rehabbing, recovering, recuperating, and convalescing. You would put him in. No, forget about the chemistry. Forget about knowing the scheme and executing the scheme, because you can know it, but to execute it is a whole different thing. So you would take the guy out who's been there the whole time.
Yes, I'm putting my best
off of his hospital bed to put him back in.
I'm putting my best player in, just like we
said.
But
he's not your best player if he hasn't played the whole season. He can't be your best player.
So here's my rebuttal to that. In 2024, when Jonathan Allen got hurt and tore his pectoral muscle, we had a playoff run, and we brought him back, and he started. So why wouldn't that be the same? And why would that be the same way with Laremy Tunsil? Answer that.
Because we know that Brandon Coleman has that experience, because Brandon Coleman was playing in 2024. Laremy Tunsil was not playing for us in 2024. It was Brandon Coleman.
Right.
So this is his opportunity to get back to where he once was.
But he was was splitting time though, Denise.
Back out there.
He also was splitting time with Cornelius Lucas. And he was also splitting time with Cornelius Lucas. He wasn't the primary. He started he was playing, but he was sharing time at the left tackle position with Cornelius Lucas. So he wasn't just your primary left tackle at that during his rookie year. He was sharing duties.
But he was fulfilling duties. Laremy Tunsil wasn't fulfilling any duties, not part-time, not half-time, not quarter-time, no time.
I guarantee if Laremy Tunsil comes back, he's gonna be your better left tackle.
How can you guarantee that with no playing time at all?
Skills pay the bills. I get it.
And he's not going to be in football shape. You know what? I tell you what, Caesar, you're here. Daryl, you're here. Let me tell you, and Kirby too, but mainly Caesar and Daryl. If Dan Quinn.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
If Dan Quinn pulls Coleman out of that position, if Coleman is able to play for the full season and Quinn pulls Coleman out to put Laremy Tunsil in, if we don't win in the playoffs, and the playoffs is one and done, you don't get another chance in the playoffs, okay? That's it. If Dan Quinn does what D Nice says, I am going to be all over him.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to
if he's
be
healthy,
all over
it's
him.
going to happen. If he's healthy, it's going to happen.
Okay.
D Nice, I disagree with you on this one. I'm going with Brandon Coleman because he been out there playing, protecting Jayton, and Laremy Tunsil just coming back, haven't been taking the practice reps, and once the end could make this move around them and possibly hurt Jayton, and we don't want that. So I'm riding with Brandon Coleman.
So the question is, do you think Brandon Coleman can stay healthy? Because you know Daryl and CJ for yourself. Brandon Coleman has an injury problem himself. So do you think he's going to stay healthy?
Yeah,
I do. But if he don't, somebody else behind him got to step up and fill his spot.
I hope it's not Andrew Wiley. I hope it's not Andrew Wiley.
What we do know, and what we don't have to think about in hypothetical terms, we don't have to hypothesize about Laremy Tunsil. We know he's out, so we don't have to deal with a what if. We're living with what is. Laremy Tunsil is out. He's not expected to be back before December. December basically is the end of the season. Okay, you got some games in January, maybe, but that's a whole season with him being gone. I'm not going to put a guy in who hasn't played a regular season game in a playoff game. This is the playoffs we're talking about. You got to put your best of your best of your best out there. And unfortunately, as wonderful as Laremy Tunsil is, and as accomplished as he is throughout his whole career, he's not going to be our best left tackle in December or January. He's not. He can't be, because he will not have played the entire season. Now, if he came back like halfway through, that sort of thing, halfway through the season, yes, I'm putting him right back in there. But when the regular season is done, so is he. For me.
But yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I have a point.
Yes, Kirby.
Okay. The only way that I would side with Denise here, D-Nice, is that if I needed to move Coleman to guard because Paul wasn't getting the push and getting blown up on run plays, so I might put Tunsil in to move Coleman over back to guard.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's the only reason I would do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
What would you do, Caesar, before we wrap up? Caesar,
so I was leaning with D-Nice. I'm not gonna lie, because listen, well, first of all, we are very lucky that this happened early enough in the season where we actually get to find our offensive linemen.
That's right.
Brandon Coleman, we'll have to see, right? It's kind of a wait and see. We're expecting him to flourish, to do well. We just don't know, right?
Right.
We don't know about our center position. We don't know what's happening. Brandon Coleman was barely winning the left guard position against Paul, right? So I can't say that he's a better left tackle, because he's not, or else he would have been there. Well, not really with Tunsil. But, Tunsil can only make us better. However, like Ms. Denise says, if this man is not in football shape, then what's the point of putting him out there, right?
Right.
So the good thing is that he's having the surgery early. I don't think he's going to lose that much strength. A friend of mine's a physical therapist, and he's talking about the sooner you get in there to get that surgery, the sooner you can get your strength back. So, this could probably last, 6 months at most, but you never know. Everyone heals differently. And again, this is kind of a wait and see, but I would also lean towards putting Tunsil. He's not going to make us worse. He's an all-pro.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Caesar. And sorry for the nice for cutting you off. But that's too much of a risk. And we don't need that.
It is.
I mean, like we always mad that last year Jayden was in the game when we played Seattle. And we all said that Jayden should have been out that game.
True.
Yeah.
And Jayden hurt his elbow. Well, we don't want that same thing with Tunsil.
Yeah, I'm not for putting somebody in a playoff game who hasn't played throughout the regular season. Now, if he had played some regular season games, that would be good enough for me. But no regular season games, no play. Because the playoffs, it's like Daryl said, there's too much weighing in the balance. You only have one shot in the playoffs, and that is it. So you put somebody out there who hasn't played the whole season. This is his first time back. He's got to deal with all of the emotional and physical, changes that a player has to go through when they're getting back on the field. That's too much during playoff time. And I wouldn't risk it. But it is, we've already hit our 1 hour mark. So it is time to wrap up. I thank everybody. I want to thank Vonda. I want to thank Mies. Thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Daryl. for joining us live in the chat, live on the show. You know, we appreciate having you all.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
So much. Thank you very much. So, does anybody have anything to say as a wrap up? Kirby, I'll ask you first, and I'll go to Daryl, then I'll go to Caesar.
Well, as always, it's an excellent show.
Thank you, Kirby.
You know, what I like is there's nothing sugar coated. We look at all the different sides of the coin there. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and but I always learn something. You know, I learned something from Caesar. I learned something from Daryl. I learned something from you, Denise. It's a fantastic show. It really is, and y'all just get bigger and bigger. And
thank you.
And I want at least one of y'all to go to that big deal on August the 23rd and mention that to your next show.
August 23rd is my birthday. It is the late great Sonny Jurgensen's birthday. It is the late great Kobe Bryant's birthday. So my birthday, I am otherwise occupied. I will be celebrating Denise. I'll be celebrating Sonny Jurgensen. I'll be celebrating Kobe Bryant. Oh, and Rick Springfield, who sang Jesse's Girl. It is his birthday as well. So August 23rd is a busy day of celebration for me. So I will not be available. However, I will be with those guys in spirit, you know, as they have their meet and greet event. So that would be nice. I can't speak for D Nice, but me, the spirit of Sonny Jurgensen, the spirit of Kobe Bryant, me and Rick Springfield, we're all going to be celebrating the birthday. So that is it. Daryl, you're next.
Thank you, Denise and Denise, for always having us on the show. And
my pleasure.
I want to say, just create memories with your family.
Yes,
that's right. That's
very
right.
Good. Thank you so much. And Caesar, we'll wrap it up with you, dear.
I tell you, when Ms. Denise talking about with being with the spirits, and she'll be drinking some spirits, I'm sure, on her birthday.
You know it.
You know, she's talking about practice. She's talking about giving you a few more. You know, and she's talking about, you know, we're going to lose. We can't lose. And we only get that one shot. And I thought she was about to do an M&M on me. So, no, but I listen, when I believe in Brendan Coleman, although I feel better with Decker for depth. I believe in our defense. I believe in our coaching staff. And frankly, it's just, I'm excited to see what our new season brings us.
That is right. And I want to also thank Joe Horton, 7934, for chiming into the chat. And I want to thank, I hope I didn't get the name wrong. It's Kirby's fan, Table for Mine -W5X. Okay. He definitely is a Kirby fan. And he said, let's see, fan of Kirby's Corner in the house, representing Texas, the Lone Star State, where Kirby is known to not only be a historic, legendary fan of the Redskins, Washington football team Commanders, but he's also known to be a pit master because nobody can barbecue better than Kirby. If it's got meat on it, he can put it on the grill and make it fall off the bone.
That's right. I know that's right.
There you
that's
go,
what
Kirby.
Well, I even sent Rick Doc Walker some of my baby back ribs. I mailed them to him.
There you go. And he enjoyed it. And we heard about it on the show, on his show, where he talked about how delicious the meat was and how it was falling off the bone. And it was very good. And it made me quite jealous. But I'm glad that our legendary Redskins player, Rick Doc Walker, got a chance to enjoy some of Kirby's barbecue. But hey, listen, thank you for joining us tonight. And look, if you have not done so already, I would like to invite you, along with my partner, D Nice, we would like to invite you to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also find us at Two of a Kind Sports on TikTok and what is the other? Instagram.
Yes.
TikTok and look, you know what? I'm talking too much. D Nice, over to you. I'm talking too much.
You did it so well, Denise. I mean, that you're right. You're telling all our fans, Commander fans, Two of a Kind Sports family, because that's what we say. This is a family space. This is an open space that we agree to disagree, and we show nothing but respect and love to each other. So I want to thank each and one of you that came on the panel, everyone in the chat. Thank you, because without you guys, there would never be us. And we're only trying to continue to keep building this brand up as we're on our journey to 1,000 subscribers. So as I always say, tell a friend so they can tell a friend. But other than that, I'm looking forward to us going out here Friday night, gentlemen and lady. Yes. I'm looking for us to go out here Friday night, execute, and come out healthy. And that's all that I'm looking for this week. So other than that, as I always like to tell everyone, through all the times that we're going through, love someone and hug someone.
That's right. And as my mother always says, keep love alive 365. And thank you so much for joining us here on Two of a Kind Sports. It is the show where passion does indeed meet the game. Thank you so very much.
Yay.
Great show. Good show.